Hi, Chess Edwards here. I want to show you how to make one of my absolute favorite salads. This is a salad that gets a lot of compliments, and I always get requests from people about how to make it. So I've been telling people I'd make a video about how to make this salad, and here's the video. This is one of my favorite salads. It's a kale salad, and it's a raw kale salad. Kale is such an amazing vegetable. Cooked, it's fantastic as well, but when you eat it raw, you get all the absolute beautiful nutrients kind of undiminished. However, raw kale in and of itself can be a bit tough and a little bit bitter. So I'm going to teach you how to make a salad that is incredibly delicious and also incredibly nutritious. And of course, in order to live fully and live most vitally and vibrantly, we got to feed ourselves well. We got to love ourselves from the inside out, and that helps make our lives all that much more enjoyable and lovely. So, kale salad. Here's what you're going to want to do. Start with some nice fresh kale, and when you buy the kale, make sure it's crisp. That it's got a good crispiness to it and not a softness to it. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove this spine right here in the middle of the kale, right in there, right down the middle. This stem goes all the way up, and that's the most bitter part of the kale. So we're going to go ahead and remove that. And after I remove it, what I end up with is the stem right there, and that's the stem that gets thrown away. So now, another way, a friend of mine taught me how to do this. You can take a good sharp knife and you can just run it right down the edge of that stem. Look at that. Look how beautiful. And then you usually end up with a little top notcher right there, and you just got to pop that off. And there again is the stem. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take this kale and you're going to take a small handful of it, and you're going to take a small handful of it and you're going to bunch it up. Bunch it up into a nice little tight little ball. And then when it's in the tight little ball, you take your knife, your sharp knife, and chop it into more bite-sized pieces. So we're going to get some nice bite-sized flaky pieces right there. Now, you mentioned this salad to some people. You say, I'm going to make you a raw kale salad, and a lot of people will kind of turn their noses up because they've had perhaps bad experiences with raw kale in the past. But you're going to find that this salad is just so stupendous. In fact, just today, as I was setting up the camera to do this, I got a text from a friend of mine saying, remember that salad you made for me a few years ago? Well, it's Mother's Day, and my daughter wants to make it for me. Can you refresh me as to what the recipe is? And I said, well, funny you should ask. I'm actually setting up the camera to do a video about that right now. So that's how popular it is and how wonderful it is. What you're going to find is you're going to start filling up the bowl. And you're going to think, well, that's way too much. But you'll see with the next process that we do, the next step that we do, it actually ends up condensing down into a much smaller amount. All right, so that's all I'm going to do for this recipe here. So we got a full bowl right there. Notice that? A nice full bowl. But once we do this next process, it's going to really condense down. So there's my bowl of kale. Next step is a nice sea salt or pink Himalayan salt. You want a coarse type salt, not regular table salt. Don't use regular table salt for anything. You always want to be using a nice Himalayan sea salt or Himalayan pink salt or a sea salt. So I'm going to put in a fair amount of this. Now people ask oftentimes how much. And the answer is, I don't know. I don't follow recipes like that. I like to be really intimate with the food I cook. So rather than measuring things out, I just feel into, well, how much kale do I have? And get a sense of how much salt I need to put in there. It gives me a more kind of a nice relationship with the food that I'm cooking. So salt. The next thing you want to do is some extra virgin olive oil, a good flavorful olive oil. And again, you don't want to drown it. You just want to drizzle a little bit of olive oil on there. And how much? I don't know. But olive oil. Now, before I do this next step, I'm going to take my avocado, and I'm going to, because avocado goes in here too, but I'm about to get my hands really messy. So before I get my hands messy, I want to prepare my avocado. So I slice the avocado, twist it, Now I've got this nice seed right here. Going to get rid of the seed by just putting the knife into it like that and twisting. That gives me the seed right there. Now here's a tricky thing. You don't want to peel the outside skin from your avocados. There's no need to do that. Just going to take your knife. If you have a nice ripe, oh, this is a beautiful avocado. You're just going to score it just like that, lengthwise, and then turn it sideways, and then widthwise, crosswise. And what I'm doing is I'm making nice little chunks right there. So that's prepared. That's ready to go for the next phase. So I've got my salt, my olive oil on here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure, and I washed my hands before I did this. Make sure you wash your hands before you make this, especially if you're making it in front of others. Otherwise it'll kind of wig them out if you don't, because you're going to get your hands in there and you're going to get them all mushy. So I take my hand and I actually start to massage that olive oil and salt into the kale. And what that is doing is it's driving the salt. Remember, we have a nice coarse salt. We're driving that coarse salt into the cell wall of the kale, and it's softening what is normally kind of a tough vegetable, which is kale. So this is kale I grow out of my garden, and so I know it's all pesticide free and organic, but it's tough. So a little bit of a massage. Now you don't want to over massage it. You just want to massage it enough to get a little bit soft, but not really soggy. So there's the kale. Now I take my avocado that I prepared, and I'm going to take it and I'm going to, with my thumb, I'm going to drive out all of these nice chunks of avocado. Look at that. I end up with an absolutely empty shell, empty skin. And here's my nice avocado chunks sitting on the salad. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to do a last massage here. And what I'm doing is I'm coating all of the kale with that avocado. So I'm putting a nice coating of avocado all around all of that wonderful kale. Again, wash your hands before you do this, otherwise you're going to freak out your guests. All right, so now I'm done with my hand. I can wash my hands off, so I'm going to get all that lovely stuff off there. I don't want to waste any of that, but as you see, I'm a bit of a mess. So now the next step is scallions. So these are scallions, also sometimes known as spring onions. These are scallions. And a good way to chop your scallions is the first thing you're going to do is you're going to chop the tip off right there, and what that allows you to do is take any, this one doesn't have any, but sometimes you'll have some older, more dead skin on the outside. You want to peel that away. You got a nice fresh scallion, and you want to chop this nice and thin, not too big of chunks. Nice delicate thin. You don't want to get a big bite of scallion in this salad. You want a nice thin scallion. Now what you're going to be able to do is you can use most of the scallion. You can chop all the way down from this wonderful white part. You can chop all the way down. I kind of leave about that much off and throw that away, but all of that there, I go ahead and use all of that good stuff. But again, you want a nice, sharp, good chef's knife. This is a knife I've had for the last 30 years. I used to use this knife when I was a river raft guide up in Idaho, and I was the main chef for the week-long river trips. And I got myself a beautiful Chicago cutlery knife, and I've been using it ever since. So, got our nice scallions there. That's what our scallions look like. Nicely chopped right there. Not too much of them. You know, they're pretty overpowering, or they're pretty strong at least, and those go in. Now, cucumbers next. This is a small Parisian organic cucumber. I don't have any ready in my garden. I bought this one, but they're growing out there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that cucumber and I'm going to slice right down the middle, turn it over, slice right down the middle again. And what that does is it makes these nice 4 little pieces of cucumber, and then I can take those and chop through those, and what that's doing is it's making beautiful cubes of cucumber. Okay, there's the cucumber, all chopped up now, nice. So the cucumber goes in. Now the cucumber as well, you can peel that before you put it in. And what's nice about that is it adds a little bit of a nice light color to the salad, but I like the nutritional value of the skin of the cucumber, so that goes in. So I've got scallions, I've got cucumber, but you'll notice here it doesn't have a whole lot of color, not a lot of color going on yet. So let's add a nice tomato for color. Nice garden tomatoes. Take the top off. Toss that. Now I'm going to take this tomato and I'm just going to slice it into nice slices. The tail end of the tomato that goes. So I've got these nice slices of tomato. Now I can take those, cut them lengthwise, turn them sideways, cut them widthwise, lengthwise, widthwise, and that gives me some beautiful cubed tomato pieces. All right, so there's my tomato. Tomato goes in. All right, so I've got tomatoes, scallions, and cucumbers in with the kale that was coated with olive oil, salt, and avocado. And that's pretty much ready now, just to get a nice toss. I don't have to use my hands anymore. I'm not doing any more massaging. I'm now just tossing that. There we go. Now it's not done yet. A critical ingredient still needs to be added in there. So here's the key ingredient, and it's lemon, beautiful lemon. Now if you ever make this and you serve it up and you realize it doesn't quite have the taste that you had last time you made it, it's probably because you forgot the lemon. I've done that before. I've made it and thought, yeah, it's a little bit bland, what's going on? I forgot the lemon. This is the zing, the zest, the thing that really brings the flavor out. So you can use either a lemon squeezer, squeeze your lemons. You can use a nice little strainer right there to squeeze the lemon through the strainer to catch the seeds. Personally, I like to use my hands. I just let my fingers be the strainer and I just squeeze, shake my hand there, let the seeds stay in my hand, let the lemon juice all the way through. A full lemon and probably another half lemon, so a lemon and a half, I think. Now, here's the deal with the lemon. It's the last thing you're putting on. So, you know, put on a full lemon, taste it. If you think it needs a little bit more zest, a little bit more zing, a little more pizzazz, then cut another lemon and put another half lemon on. Now, if you're not going to serve this salad for a while, don't put on the lemon yet, otherwise it's going to soak in the lemon juice and get a little bit soggy. Lemon goes on right before you serve the salad. So there you go. That's pretty much it. I'm going to mix that in. Now, there's a couple of other things you can do. If you eat dairy, this is fantastic with feta cheese as well. So a little bit of feta cheese on there would really, really kick it off. And finally, I also like to put on some roasted, unsalted sunflower seeds. And now I'll only put these on right before I serve it so they stay crisp and they don't get soggy with the lemon juice. So I'll sprinkle these on top right before I serve the salad. So roasted sunflower seeds or regular sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds also work fantastic for this. So that's it. Oh, last thing. This other half of the avocado that I have, remember I prepared it with those little cubes? Now that I've got the whole salad done, I'm going to take that, and look at that, as I run my thumb through there, see how these cubes are coming out? Because I pre-scored it. So I got these nice cubes of avocado, and those are all going to go in at the very end. So not only are the leaves coated with avocado, but this way I get a nice chunk of avocado as well. So there you go. Most amazing salad, kale salad. You will get rave compliments. People will love you because you're feeding them well. They know that you care about them. They know that you love them because you're feeding them good, loving, soulful food. So you want to keep your spirit alive, you got to keep the body alive. This will do it. Kale salad. Enjoy. Bon appetit.